Kids, I promise this is my last Palia politics rant. Maybe. I'm not knocking on wood. But what I will do is tell you the current story that really just pisses me off about Palia, right? Because Palians are literally just Trumpers, right? And they value honor above all else, right? You honor the classic: honor your family, honor your job, honor your government, honor God, right? And the higher they are, the more important they are. So if you need to honor God by killing your son, that's fine by Palians. Do it. Have fun. Have a blast. You know, you can't feed your kids ever because you have to be at work. That's fine. They'll figure something out. Which leads us to who? Reth, of course. The only good person in this entire fucking game. So Reth was 4 years old and he had two options: humiliate himself by leaving his path and therefore dishonoring his job, right? Level 3, remember. Or the other option is that he could dishonor not only himself, but his entire family line by not quitting carpentry, right? And continuing to be a terrible carpenter and never getting a job and ending up on the streets, begging for food, begging for money, begging for a bed, right? He lives and sleeps on the streets. That was his other option. And we're sensible human beings, so we know which is the smarter option and the one that we would praise and honor more, right? Certainly not what job you kept. Especially considering the fact that he didn't get better at carpentry because he didn't have time to. His parents were never home because they were busy with the same job. And his sister was sickly, so Tish needed to be taken care of. So all of Reth's time was taken into feeding Tish and making sure she was healthy and doing well, right? That was his top priority. And so in a sensible society, we would see that and say, foolish us. We should have known better than to think that his path could ever possibly be carpentry. His path is clearly caretaking, right? He's clearly on a path to become the best father we have ever seen in this town. And that's what a healthy community would say. But no, because this is a Trump community. And so their concept is, no, work. Give the government their money so the government can give their money to God. Fuck you and your family, and fuck what you want. Right? That is a Trump America. To a T. So, Reth grows up, sees how toxic this town is and this lifestyle is. So he takes his sister and runs off to Kimala. I always forget the fucking name. Where everyone seems so much nicer and so much kinder. But as they live and settle down, they realize they're really not any better. The people of this town are also judging Reth because they learned that he was originally supposed to be a carpenter. And everyone either hates him, resents him, or pities him. And those are three things you don't want to have happen when you don't follow your, quote, path, right? Like, doing this and just not following your path so you can take care of your little sister. That is something to be praised. And Reth is literally like the second coming of God, of Kimala, whatever the fuck it's called, right? Like, he is almost like a parable of Jesus Christ and fucking self, right? He is ruined his life so he can make the lives of the people around him better. He feeds people. He takes care of his sister. He makes friends easily, and he takes care of them all. He does whatever he can, and he fell into bad times because the world put him in that situation, right? And fortunately, he has been lucky enough that the world has not shunned him for his mistakes in that regard. It's like they finally are giving him a slice of grace and saying his life was no bed of roses. Poor Reth has been through the ringer, has lost his family, he has lost his community, and now he's here and he's still not having luck creating a community. So at the very least, they gave him a stalemate. But that's still not human nature. That is still Trumpian. That is still not love. That is tolerance. And that is the best you could ever hope for from a Trump presidency. Tolerance. If you don't end up in the concentration camp, that's because they tolerate you. Because your skin is white enough. Because your tits aren't hanging down to your knees, right? That's an old age reference, not a woman reference. Sorry. Because you like the right sex. You identify as the right sex, right? This is what you need to do to survive and thrive. And you need to be loved by the Palians, right? You need to be normal. You need to be honorable. So fuck 'em. That's been 7 minutes. I'm done. I'm tired. I'm so very tired. The world fucking sucks. Let's burn it and start over.